So welcome to the first presentation of Inside the Vault with IW and ShopWorn, where we're going to show you some amazing timepieces and other products that are pulled outside the vault to present for a second life. I'm Gary Girdvainis. I'm the publisher of IW Magazine for 30 years now. I also publish About Time for more affordable watches. I've been covering watches from the industrial and consumer level for quite some time. I'm joined today with the CEO of ShopWorn, Larry Birnbaum, and Larry's going to tell us a little bit about what ShopWorn is and what ShopWorn isn't. So thanks for this opportunity, Larry.
Great. Gary, thanks for being here. We feel blessed to have you with us. ShopWorn. For the people that don't know what ShopWorn is, a ShopWorn item is an item that has been on display at a retailer, at an authorized retailer, or a brand's boutique that hasn't sold at the retail level. The item has been tried on maybe by a customer, handled by a sales associate, but never sold, never consumer owned. So that item, it's ShopWorn. It's been tried on, but it's never been sold, never been consumer owned. And anybody who buys any product from us is the first to own their luxury product.
And based on what I know about your formula, you're only working with brands you're authorized to sell. And in my opinion, authenticity is one challenge to overcome in a direct-to-consumer web format. Talk to me about how ShopWorn guarantees authenticity.
It absolutely is. ShopWorn has a very unique concept. We only buy items from authorized retailers or the brands themselves. And because we know the provenance of every single item we buy, whether it be a watch, a piece of jewelry, a pair of sunglasses, there is guaranteed 100% authenticity. There is no room for mistake. We don't need to say, oops, it's just authentic, 100%.
And you only sell what you're authorized to sell.
We only sell what we can buy from an authorized dealer or the brands themselves.
And it's in inventory and available. Anything on your site is available now.
Everything on our site is in-house, pictured by us, and we don't have to go hunt an item. And every item we sell comes with a 2-year warranty, which would mimic the manufacturer's warranty.
Excellent. Well, that gives a new life. I think what we see here is an opportunity for collectors to reach beyond their normal scope. We'll talk about some of these products later. You'll be amazed by the prices. The quality, I hate to say as new because ShopWorn is what it is. It's ShopWorn, but when we unwrap these and show them to you, you'll see that they're pristine examples of watches that deserve your attention. Unlike every blog, every website that tries to show the latest, newest product, which is great. These watches are timeless, and I think they're worth a second look and worth a second life.
Absolutely. I mean, everything we sell is going to be a treasure to somebody that hopefully they're going to hand down to a child, a grandchild. People don't buy an item, buy a watch, and then throw it out when the season's over, or a piece of jewelry. So it's really a treasure for everybody. And if you want the latest and greatest, then you're going to go to your local retailer and or the brand's website, if that be it, and buy it. But we are able to introduce all these luxury brands, over 75 and counting, and looking to double that within the next 12 months, to a new consumer who may fall in love with that brand and be a follower for life. And we have a role to play, and we feel that we are filling that role very well.
To me, it seems analogous with how I bought my car. I let someone else take the initial depreciation. I got a car, and in this case, it actually had a few hundred miles on it, kind of a display model, if you will, and let someone else take the initial depreciation, and you can come out ahead in that transaction.
100%. The car business has been capitalizing on this concept for quite a long time. You're buying the display model that was in the showroom, or maybe the item that was driven around by a consumer or the salesman to show somebody how the car feels, but it's new. And you really can get a fabulous buy, especially if you're looking to get into that car, whether it's a luxury vehicle or not. You can really get into it at a great deal and see if you like it. And then next time, maybe go and buy something for full boat, if there's something specific you want where you don't want to have that display model.
No, well, I really appreciate this partnership. This is my first IW's first step into this type of commercial partnership, but I really do appreciate what you're doing. Otherwise, I wouldn't have done it. So,
I'm sure.
Thanks for this opportunity. And let me show off a couple of your pre-selections, and we've also had some other selections.
We do. We've gotten some messaging already from people who have signed up for the webinar, asking some additional questions. But for full disclosure, the presentation that you're going to see right now of the watches that we have here on display was taped a little bit earlier today. We felt for production value, we could really put on a better show, for lack of a better term, if we pre-filmed it. So Gary and I will be here after the 20-minute or so presentation, and we'll be here to answer additional questions and show some additional items that were requested by people who have signed up. And please ask your questions throughout, and we will pull something out of the safe if we have time to do it. And you can certainly email us, and we can send you individual pictures via email if we don't have time to show you something today. And if this is successful, we will be back in a few weeks and do it again.
Personally, I don't think they trusted me to do it live, and I can't blame them. So we did pre-record it, and there's a little bit of added value there. So we are here live now, and we will be after this brief presentation. And you're actually going to see Larry's niece, Ilana, showing a couple pieces of exquisite jewelry. I actually show a couple of fine writing instruments as well. And once that brief presentation is over with what we chose, we'll show a couple of those selections that were requested and answer any live questions in about 20 minutes or so.
Enjoy, and please don't hesitate to ask us any questions, and we will do our best to answer them all.
Thank you. So for the first iteration of Inside the Vault, I'm going to have to put on my readers because I'm old and I suffer from presbyopia and I can't see these things anymore. This Hamilton is a classic power reserve. It's a solid stainless steel. It's the company established, of course, in 1892 as an American brand. It's now part of the Swatch Group, as most people who love watches know. This Jazzmaster features the 80-hour H10 Powermatic automatic winding movement, and it's an exceptional value. Most watches have a 38 to 42 hour power reserve. To have 80 hours of autonomy from full wind really means you can leave it over a weekend or longer, come back and pick it up, and it's going to be running. And you'll know how much power is left because here we have the dial side power indicator joining the center second 3-hand and date on the silver, not really a sunray finish, more of a satin sunray finish dial. What's really striking about this watch is that it's 42 millimeters, but it looks a lot bigger. It's got that tiny thin bezel, and it really opens up the aperture for the dial. And like them as a big group, or even if you prefer boutique brands, what you'll see here is just an excellent level of fit and finish and component quality. A sapphire crystal back shows off the H10 Powermatic. The sapphire crystal front, the slightest of domes, protects the dial, and it's the two-tone finish with the satin and the high polish, both on the bracelet, which is very supple, as well as on the case itself, add a certain depth to this watch, and it's a great value. The Swatch Group does propose a lot of excellent values right out of the box. The retail price for this watch is $1,295, and you couldn't say that that's not a great price for that kit of components. Sorry, that's upside down. Let's put it right side up for you there. And today, the price, you can see the excellent price on ShopWorn.com already, but working together with IW, Larry and I have agreed to give an amazing price of $499 for the few of these that are remaining in inventory. Anyone who's a collector, it's a great gift item for your husband or graduate, and it's just a good watch for collectors who like that added complication of a power reserve. If you like mechanicals, normally you like power reserves. Putting that Hamilton aside for a moment, we're going to another stainless steel with the two-tone or the combination brushed and polished finish. This is a smaller execution. This is the American Classic Railroad. The thing about this watch, it would have looked great 50 years ago, and it's going to look 50 years from now, it's going to look great as well. It's not such a bold design that it's going to follow trends. It's going to look classic and elegant pretty much indefinitely. The same 80-hour power reserve movement inside, center second with date, no power reserve in this case. Again with the big aperture, so the 40 millimeter does play much bigger. The dial looks bigger and it's very comfortable. If you look at the profile, you're probably looking at, if I had to guess, about a 12 millimeter, so it's fairly slim. Both this and the previous are both water resistant to 5 ATM. Good enough for splashing and submersion. I wouldn't swim with it, and you certainly wouldn't dive with it, but that's not what this watch is designed for. So the retail price on this particular watch is a great value at $995. Larry and I will offer this at $350 on shopworn.com until they're gone. And again, a great gift for a graduate. High school graduate might not be ready for a watch worth a few $1,000s, but something like this is a great entry level to teach them that a watch doesn't have to be a smartwatch to be worth wearing. We also have a second version of the same watch. This time, whereas you have the sporty elegance of the stainless steel, a bit more casual look, here we have a full-on dress look with an alligator strap along with a gold tone, two-tone finish, high polish and brushed. Nice texture and off-color stitching. Same movement, same construction, same components with a gold plate, a beautiful rose gold plate. Just takes it up a notch for dress. I mean, you'd love to wear that out to dinner. Easy to adjust with the deployant style clasp with the leather, which is a nice asset because it's not only easy to adjust, it doesn't break down as quickly as a regular tang and buckle style. Again, it's a little bit more expensive than the bracelet version. The retail price on this is $1,095. And the ShopWorn price, if you're watching this presentation, go to the website, you can find it for $375. Again, $375 for an 80-hour power reserve automatic with that kind of provenance it's an exceptional deal. You can't go wrong. It'll never be worth less than that unless you break it. So that's our Hamilton collection. And now we move on to something completely different. This is a L&JR, a bit of a cumbersome name. It's not the easiest to remember. However, the team behind it has a CV worthy of a watch of this caliber. When you look at it, you think it's worth thousands of dollars, and it probably is. A multi-dimensional dial, hints of a de Bethune ellipse. You've got a grand date and a retrograde week function, and a watch that it's quartz powered, so it's less expensive than you might think. But even though it's quartz powered, the design elements, the big dome on the crystal, the architecture of the lug design, it's just a watch that plays a lot stronger than it cost. Even at the original price of $1,200, it was, again, not a bad price for a watch of this caliber. When you look at it under a loupe, the finishes, the surfaces are done correctly. The retrograde day of the week function snaps back in a controlled, well-engineered process. It doesn't snap back and shutter, it just comes back at a stately pace and stops. It really is well done. The interesting factor behind this is that it's also the child of a group of three men. One is Jörg Hiesik's son, who I've never met, but anyone who knows watches knows Jörg Hiesik was a designer. Hiesik watches, Jörg Hiesik in HD3. His son, clearly the apple didn't fall too far from the tree, because clearly his son's also an excellent designer. He joined forces with Lionel Ledoux, who in 2007 made his own line of high-end watches, exquisite, very nicely done. And they were joined by Philippe Quat with a CV that includes Vacheron Constantin, Piaget, and Techno Marine. So three guys who know watches came together to build this a great price at $1,200. And it's hard to imagine you wouldn't buy this for $295, which is what ShopWorn is offering this for. And there's also a black dial version, and there's a chronograph version as well. We're going to save that for another show, but you can see it on shopworn.com if you choose to go there. Again, 5 ATM water resistance. You don't want to dive with it. You don't want to swim with it. And it's a fairly substantial watch. This is a 45 millimeter case. So smaller wrists may not be the most appropriate for this, but if you do like a full-size watch with character, you can't go wrong for $295. So going to the other end of the spectrum for a higher-end exotic piece, we have DeWitt. We're just going to put that aside. Now, DeWitt is an interesting company. It's a boutique brand based in Geneva. I've been to their facility several times. It's the size of an airplane hangar, and the owner, Madame DeWitt, is a character. She has flame orange hair, a bold, friendly personality, and a drive like few women of any age have. I really appreciate her enthusiasm, and even her partner, her husband, Jerome DeWitt, can trace his lineage back to Napoleon, believe it or not. So kind of an interesting backstory behind the two protagonists behind the brand. But the watch itself, it's just an exquisite piece of solid gold with a bicompax chronograph, which cleans up the dial. And the dial's important to DeWitt because they're very proud to make their own dials, which very few watchmakers do. Most watchmakers go to specialists, which is nothing wrong with that, whether it's Patek, Rolex, Vacheron, Jacques Drouot, or anyone. Going to a specialist who focus on making exquisite dials is what most companies do. DeWitt took a little different course. They're more concerned with building their own dials and using well-made traditional Swiss movements inside. This bicompax chronograph would probably be out of the reach of most collectors at $39,900 retail. And as shocking as that is, you can see that there is every bit of detail, and under a loop, it's exquisite. You can't find a wrong step. The bit of color on the chapter ring, the dished out design of the subdials, it really is an exquisite watch. It also plays off their column design. It's a little bit more subdued in this more modern execution. The case used to have that rigid look. Today, this watch at $39,900 was well out of my price range, to be honest. But today we're offering it for $9,990. So the collector who said that's just too much at $40,000 can say, wow, for just under 10, I can get that watch. And looking around, again, it's worth more than that in the secondary market right now. So if you have a desire that fits your thinking of a classic look, how can you go wrong at $9,950, I think it was. So that is just an exquisite watch. Now, everything we've shown so far has been for the men. Let's do a little shock value here and think Miami Beach. Think dressing up in a summer dress with this bright red sapphire crystal embedded Dior. Now, the positive part about this is that the sapphire crystals are scratch almost proof. You can scratch it with a diamond if you really try. Speaking of diamonds, there is a small chapter ring of diamonds in this 40 millimeter case. Is it 38 millimeter case?
38, Gary.
38, thanks Larry. It's a 38 millimeter case, so nicer fit on the ladies' wrists. But unusually, this has a mechanical movement inside. You can see the red rotor inside here and a mechanical movement. And ladies have been slow to respond, according to most of the retailers I speak with, to the mechanical movement because it's less convenient. And I would argue that if you're going to have an exquisite watch that you're not going to wear all the time, a mechanical movement is the way to go. Because the reality is you can wear this every day and it'll keep very fine time. If you put it away and wear it for special occasions, all you have to do is twist the crown a few times and set the time, and it will never let you down. It will always be standing by. My own wife and other women I've asked have worn watches that were not running because it matched their outfit. It's an accessory as much as it is a timekeeper. In this case, you never have to worry about the battery dying because there is no battery. And if it's too complicated to simply give it a quick twist and set the time, I think you can learn to love it, especially when you have an exquisite timepiece like this waiting in your winder, your drawer, your bureau to wear on that special occasion. The retail price on the Dior was a $6,900 fair market value. It's a little bit dear for what it is in stainless steel. However, at $14.95, the husband who wants to buy himself that Davitt or anything else can justify his purchase with his wife by buying this exquisite sapphire coated covered timepiece for her. And that's it for the ladies at the moment. We did have a couple of other accessories that we wanted to show for both men or women. Stepping away from the watches, those of you who know me may remember I used to publish a magazine called Stylus, where we covered fine writing instruments. So Cuervo Sobrinos is a watch brand that is based originally in Cuba. It's a Swiss brand now with a Latin heritage, and they've also come out with a series of accessories including some fine writing instruments. We have here an exquisite roller ball that is very smooth to write, and even just to look at it, it's a well-made, it's an accessory. It's a great gift item if you don't know what to get your graduate, your husband, your son, or for yourself. And fine writing instruments can be expensive. However, this one retails originally for $9.95, and for this roller ball to be sold at $2.95, it's a steal. That's the bottom line. Because it's a roller ball, it is a cartridge filler. So inside is a replaceable cartridge, so it's very convenient, easy to replace. And that's just a wonderful gift for yourself or someone else. It's a little simple and clean if that's your style. However, we also have another Cuervo. This is the Mille Miglia. The beautiful brick red color with the grill over the top. It really is a fun timepiece. And if you've never written with the fountain pen, it's an experience. It really does feel different on the paper. It shows more emotion. The shape of the lines and everything else. It really does. It's fun to write with a fountain pen. If you haven't done it, try it once in a while, even if it's just to write a quick note or a birthday card. The fountain pen here, in this case, has a Bach nib made in Germany, and the ebonite filler. It looks precise. I looked at it under a loupe. It's well made, and it's what they call a piston filler. So a piston filler, basically you put the plunger all the way down, you would dip that right up to the collar in ink, and then just drag that ink into the tube so you're full. You give it a little burp. I was trained, you have to burp them just like a baby. You tap it out, close it back up, and you're ready to write your pages and pages of your poetic and deep thoughts. It's a little bit more expensive because it's a limited edition and celebrates the Mille Miglia in this exquisite lacquered box. I believe the original retail price was $2,900. This will be sold at an excellent price discount of only $750. And again, it's a tough value to beat. Great gift item for anyone. So that's it for my Inside the Vault presentation, showing off the exquisite watches and a couple of fine writing instruments. But ShopWorn is more than just watches and writing instruments. It's also jewelry, handbags, and other accessories. So we thought, just for the fun of it, we'd show a couple of exquisite pieces of jewelry, a beautiful bracelet and a ring. But I don't know jewelry all that well, so we're going to bring in Alana to show off our fine pieces of jewelry.
Thank you, Gary, for the introduction. Hi everyone, my name is Birnbaum. I am the Director of E-commerce here at ShopWorn. I know everyone tuning in is big fans of watches, but before we sign off, we just wanted to showcase 2 of our new jewelry brands that we just got new collections in. So first up, we have Asael. And Asael is a brand known for procuring the finest and rarest of pearls. Their pieces come in a wide range of prices, with prices starting on our site for just $160, and they range all the way up to $35,000 for some of their more extravagant items. However, you can find all Asael jewelry listed on our site for 60% off their retail prices. So this beautiful pearl and diamond bracelet with 18K yellow gold retails for $18,300, but today we have added it to our flash sale, and you can find it there for just $4,800. So just go to our flash sale or go to the Asael brand page in order to find this piece. Okay, and next up, and our last one, is from John Hardy. So we actually just unboxed a bunch of new arrivals from this brand a couple days ago, so they're not even up on our website yet. This ring that we're looking at here features John Hardy's classic chain link pattern. Plus, when you put it on, you can see beautiful green tourmaline gemstones that make it truly eye-catching. So these pieces, again, brand new to us. They're not up on our website. This ring lists for $12.95, but if you contact us today, we're offering it for $5.25. The list price on our website will be $6.50, so you're getting a great deal. And this piece is in a size 7. So also, if you guys ever want to see products on or have any questions, you can always feel free to email our team at info@shopworn.com, and we are happy to help you and provide any more insights or photographs of images or products that you guys want. So with all that said, we'll take just a short break, and Larry and Gary will come back on to do the final Q&A.
Welcome back. We hope you enjoyed seeing some of the selections that we pulled from the vault. We've also had some requests for some other product, and before we take a question or two, we wanted to show off a spectrum of watches above and beyond what we already showed you. So this is live. If I mess it up, full forgiveness, please.
Now, these came from people who pre-registered for the show, these requests. We were asked to show some Luminox, some Graham, and some call Bucharest. We are always open to show anything you'd like to see. So please, please send us your messages and emails, and we are here to help.
Well, we start at the bottom end of the spectrum, price-wise, not necessarily quality-wise, but the Luminox, and I saw that you just got a big shipment of these in. This thing is light as a feather. It's a carbon case, water resistant to 20 ATM, originally just over $500 retail price, unidirectional bezel. That sounds to my ear like a 60-click bezel, very precise, with the tritium tubes, which, as most of you who are in the watch world know, tritium tubes do not need to be exposed to light to glow. They will glow for 25 years or more to a certain extent. They don't glow as bright as Superluminova, but they do glow without the need to be exposed to light. They create their own. I was at the factory that makes these tubes. It's amazing to watch them in action using the tritium gas and the safety precautions that they have to take to create them. Even importing them takes a special license. So for a weekend watch, I don't want to say beater, but something that's affordable, easy to wear, easy to gift, and something you won't mind putting a scratch on every now and then. Swim with it, canoe with it in black or all blacked out or with the contrasting white. Originally just over $500. Larry, I think you agreed that you were going to sell these for...
Gary, today we'll sell these for $199. And to add to what you're saying about how light they are, you could really wear 3 on your wrist and still not feel the weight of one normal timepiece.
No, and it's a chronograph, and it feels like it could almost float if you dropped it in the water. We can't test it right now, but a great watch for an entry level or for that graduate, senior, as you wish. Moving on to a little bit, we also had a request for Graham.
We did, and we pulled out two different Grahams from the safe. Help me out here. I'm drawing a blank.
And this is the fun part about ShopWorn. So this is when your watch comes in inventory. It is pristine. So the first one we're showing is the Silverstone. You have different colorways on this. This is a massive beast of a watch. I've got a big wrist. Okay, I think it's 7 3/4, 8 inches. It's big, and this is a 48 millimeter watch. That if you've got that bold character and want something that's going to stand out, a GMT chronograph combination in this watch and a Swiss-made execution really is could be for you. It's got a beautiful side case with some bevels giving it some shape. It's not for the timid. That's going to be a heavy hitter. Originally the price was a substantial just over 11,550, and if you like mechanical chronograph GMTs, two of the favorite complications combined, I think, Larry, you said that this was going to sell for $3,975.
Absolutely, but Alana and I just spoke during the other presentation, and aside from the first, 3, 6, 7, 8 items we showed in the first presentation, anyone watching for the next 24 hours can use the code VAULT25 and get any item they see on our website for an additional 25% discount.
Well, that's a great price. That really is a great price. Again, you're going to have to be a full-figured person or like that bold look with this Graham. Graham has two real strong lines. The Silverstone with its racing heritage and their signature trigger mechanism chronograph in the Chrono Fighter. Now, that's just a handsome dial. And the thing about when you look at these watches in images, in my magazine or online anywhere, when you look at the Silverstone, you would think it's smaller than the Chrono Fighter because of that trigger mechanism, which is on the left side, which makes it very easy to wear. But look at them side by side. So you can see that Chrono Fighter is very wearable.
Absolutely. I've worn that watch and it's not uncomfortable at all. The trigger does not, obviously it's on the opposite side, so it's not digging into your wrist, and it's a very comfortable, very wearable watch.
Again, that combination of chronograph and GMT, two of the favorites. And the trigger, for those of you who are not familiar, you press it. This is the start-stop actuator for the chronograph mechanism. And the reset is the separate button, which avoids a lot of damage because the first mechanical watch I ever owned, the first chronograph that I bought, I broke because I just started hitting buttons, and without resetting it, without stopping it, I tried to reset it.
You're probably not the first and won't be the last. Another thing that people do sometimes is they try to change the date of their watch when it's between 10 or 2 and 3 in the morning, and those wheels are already in movement.
They're already
engaged. And for those who don't know, just as a tip, you should not change the date of your watch between 10 p.m. and 2 a.m.
I tell my readers not to change the date between 10 and 2 regardless. Make it a habit and never go backwards in time. Modern watches may be protected when you're adjusting the time, but always adjust forward just as a safety feature. Good habits, good practices, and you won't kill your watch. So we do have a few questions, though. Thank you for participating. Ilana's joined us, and did you want to throw a couple of questions from our...
Sure, I will start. Okay. Does the warranty on ShopWorn watches come from the manufacturer? If not, who does the repair work?
Great question. The warranty on every watch we sell is a 2-year warranty through ShopWorn. We have an in-house watchmaker that we use who is authorized to repair most, if not all, of the brands we currently sell. However, if there is a watch that he is not authorized to fix, we will never put an aftermarket part in a timepiece. and that watch will be sent back to the manufacturer for repair. And if there's a charge and it's during the warranty period, of course, that will be at our expense. I hope that answered the question.
All right, let me ask another. Someone mentioned DeWitt and asked how we're able to list them for 65% off.
Well, I don't think it's just DeWitt. If you look at our website, we offer incredible value on everything we sell in watches, jewelry, sunglasses, accessories, handbags. Everything is a great value. These items are not current products, so you can't get them in the store anymore. And the stores and or the manufacturers at their boutiques needed to make room for new merchandise, and they had to move it at a reduced price. It's just as simple as that. I mean, if you wait till the end of a season to buy your favorite sweater, assuming your size is still available, you're going to get a great deal on that sweater, and it's no different.
So we're buying skis in the summer?
There you go. Absolutely.
Any other questions from?
Sure. Will we price match versus other sites?
Another one for you.
They're all coming in for me. Yes, we will certainly price match any price you see. Just send us a link. Let us show us that item is in stock, or call us and tell us whom it is, and we will do our research, and we will definitely price match and or beat any price you find anywhere else.
Gary, I think this one might be more for you. Someone asked for us to tell them about the use of materials such as silicone for escapement.
Silicium or silicon has become a new material of interest in watchmaking for escapements, for the hairspring, for the balance wheel, for the pallet fork. It's got a lot of properties that make it give it a certain advantages. It doesn't need to be lubricated because the surfaces can be so perfectly flat that with the geometry adjusted to accommodate the material, you actually can have an escapement that doesn't need lubrication. And famously, Abraham Louis Breguet said, give me the perfect oil and I'll make you the perfect watch. Well, the perfect oil is no oil, because sooner or later it's going to wear out, migrate, or cause other problems. So in the actual escape wheel and pallet fork, silicium makes a lot of sense. It's anti-magnetic, it's insensitive to temperature. It's also been used in more exotic manners in Zenith with their Defy Extreme, and also one of my favorite applications of that material is in the Ulysse Nardin suspended anchor escapement. I think it's one of the best inventions in escapements and watchmaking. Absolutely. Since the tourbillon. It's simple. It's not complicated. It's simple, and it's using the technology that makes it lubrication free, but also the way it stores power. I consider it almost a natural remontoire, because it's going to keep the power supply consistent based on its design. So silicium has a lot of positives. The long-term review on it is still out, but when companies like Patek Philippe hop on board and others, you have to believe that there is virtue to the material. The downside, I guess, is that you can't decorate it, but most of these components are so small, Larry, that they're typically not decorated or perlaged or anything like this anyway.
I've got a question. How long have they been using it? My recollection is probably 6, 7, 8.
The first application of silicium that I'm aware of is in the Ulysse Nardin Freaks double escapement with that very interesting looking watch. And that's more than that. That's 10 or 12 years ago, maybe even further. That was the first example. And then it was a question in the industry. Is it going to catch on? Does it make sense? Is it plastic? Does it demean the watch? Does it take away from the heritage of traditional timepieces? However, I believe it has a place in watches because, go ahead.
No, it's an advancement like everything else, and us being able to broadcast today is
when you think that most watch brands ask for a mechanical watch to have a 3 to 5 year service cycle, that's the one element that typically needs lubrication or service first. So if you can extend that 3 to 5 year service cycle, and folks, if you ever have a Rolex or Omega you want to get serviced, get ready for sticker shock because it's not cheap. Okay, you're talking $400 to $600 for service on a basic 3-hand Omega. forget repair or more complicated watches. If you can extend that service cycle to 7 to 10 years, you've made a real improvement, and the accuracy is also there. So silicon or silicium, as the Europeans like to call it, is a valid material worth its place in watchmaking.
Great. Anything else?
Do all our watches come with box and papers?
The bulk of them do, probably 99%. There is an instance, or there can be an instance, where we didn't receive the box for whatever reason. The retailer couldn't find it, couldn't locate it. In that case, we will send a generic, very nice watch box along with your purchase. And again, most times we do have the instructions, but of course there can be an instance where they don't exist. But whenever that happens, it will be noted in the description of the watch on our website.
Okay. Can we source a watch?
No, that is not our business model. We don't go sourcing, chasing watches like many other websites do. We have a specific model. Everything we sell, we keep in stock. We don't go out and find current models. That is the retailer's job, the authorized retailer's job to sell.
Are there any new brands coming up?
We are in the process of probably bringing in a lot of new brands. I don't want to name any yet because nothing is written in stone, but we expect, I would say, over the next 12 months to have 50 to 75 new brands on the website, between not only watches, but between jewelry, accessories, handbags, sunglasses, and it keeps expanding. We get shipments in 2, 3, 4 times a week.
And I will ask one last question for the both of you. What are some of your favorite watches and why?
Go ahead, Gary. I'm going to let you take this one first.
Get one.
I'm going to go sentimental. My favorite watch is pretty much priceless and worthless. It's my grandfather's Timex with an old Twisto-Flex bracelet, and it's pretty much worthless. So for me, from an emotional point of view, that is one of my favorites, and I take good care of it. I do love my IWC Cousteau diver because I was also lucky enough to travel to the Red Sea with Cousteau as a journalist and dive with the Cousteau divers and have an experience. So that, it's, for me, the sentimental or the attachment to the watch is beyond its value. It's street value, if you will. So those would be two of my favorites. But to be fair, everyone asks me this question for the last 30 years. If someone tells me a brand, I can typically say a watch that I might like from them. I'm not a watch snob. I love Swatch watches, and a Greubel Forsey or a Richard Mille I appreciate as well.
Absolutely, it's an interesting story you said about your dad, because my dad passed away recently, and I got his old Ebel Classique, and I handed it down to my son, and I remember growing up, and I remember my dad wearing that watch, and my son has it today. And it's a great feeling. From modern timepieces, I like simple and classic. So I love an H. Moser on strap, classic, maybe Power Reserve, large date, and that's really what suits me.
All right. Well, then we do have a request as well to show some Karl F. Bucherer, or Bucherer, if you will. If you're not familiar with Bucherer, they're a long storied family that has retail stores mostly in Europe. However, they recently acquired the Tourneau business in the USA and are rebranding that and developing that as we speak. But they also make a beautiful, beautiful watch. This is a big beast. This, I guess you'd call it a TV screen. It's the Petravi Evotech day date. You can see the grand date, sub-second, and the day of the week. Stainless steel, applied markers. It's just all the qualities that you'd expect for a good design in a big, bold style. However, the fun here is clearly on the back. If you like mechanical watches, obviously you like to look at the bridges, the decoration, and everything else. And with the particular Evotech movement, the rotor is on the periphery, almost like a hula hoop around your waist. So the view for the bridges, the wheels, the decoration is unimpeded half the time by a rotor, which is normally covering it. And I don't know if you'll be able to see it, but you can see it online. The rotor that winds the watch is actually just on the girdle, if you will, of the movement. Functionally, it works very well, but it also allows for a thinner watch because you don't have that extra layer with the rotor and all the appropriate components with it. And I believe the retail on this was, I'm looking at my notes here, $9,200.
Right. Something everybody may not know is Bucherer has a history of being in many, many Hollywood movies. The CEO of Bucherer loves Hollywood, and these watches have actually played big parts in very current movies.
Well, that does get them some attention. Again, just a handsome watch. It'll never be out of style. A lot of people don't go for round. I'd say 90% of watches that are sold are round watches. So going for the shaped watches is an eccentricity to some extent, but if you're going to go out of round, that might be the way to look at it. Again, good polishing, good finishing. Bucherer does it right. And the one thing about Karl F. Bucherer, it kind of replaced another brand I won't mention as getting a good complication for a fair price. And a fair price originally on this was $9,200, but Larry, I think you mentioned that this is going to be available at $3,875. I think I saw it on the website.
Yeah.
So, for that price, you're getting a lot of watch for the money. And again, that's the whole thing with ShopWorn. If this was introduced next year as the brand new Karl F. Bucherer, you'd say, wow, that's cool. So the fact that it was made a few years ago, it just doesn't matter.
Absolutely. And if you try that on, if you put it on your wrist, you'll see that shape of that case. It hugs the wrist. It's not standing up at the corners. It really fits the wrist perfectly and beautifully. And that's what you want. You want a watch to feel comfortable.
It is comfortable. Again, I have a Rubenesque wrist, so it's fairly substantial.
We won't hold it against you.
I can carry that. Some others might think it's too big, but people like big watches. Now, one for the ladies from the same company, Karl F. Bucherer is also making some exquisite ladies' watches. This is the Monero Monograph. Now, guys will know what a single pusher chrono is, a mono pusher chronograph. Integrated into the crown is a pusher. So the chronograph, you can start it with a push, stop it with the next push, and then it resets with the third push. It's a great complication. It really is. And the one thing that does, it also avoids the problem of breaking your chronograph by hitting it out of sequence, which, as I said, I've done. But, in a men's watch, you'd be bragging about that mono pusher chronograph. But if you look at the exquisite black mother of pearl dial, diamonds on the bezel, the size, I think my notes say it's only 30. I've got calipers.
You've got the caliber.
Okay, place your bets. 34?
I'm going with 33 because I don't remember.
36.
Oh, there you go.
36 millimeter case. Very thin, very narrow. It's a manual wind. So again, it's a thin enough watch to where women would love that. The diamonds, the elegance, whether they use the chronograph or not. But if you can appreciate, if more women are starting to appreciate mechanical watches, this is a great option. A beautiful strap, a style piece, and it's not cheap. It's a dear watch. It's $29,500 retail watch. However, I'm showing on the website now at $82.95.
And again, an additional 25 off for the next 24 hours.
Off
Off that using Vault 25. It's a lot of watch, Gary. It's a lot of watch.
It is. And it seems like the more expensive the watch, the better deal you can get. And I think that's a big part of the value of ShopWorn. You can access watches, the general public can access watches a step or two above what they thought they could afford.
As we discussed, and it's we are opening the door to a lot of new collectors throughout watch, jewelry categories, and things don't have to be expensive anymore to be luxury. Well, things can be affordable.
And they're much more accessible through ShopWorn. So I appreciate that. Are there any more questions, or are we?
I think that's it for today.
Is that a wrap? Well, thanks. I guess. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you for joining us. Please send us your comments, what you would like to see in the second iteration of the show. We are open to all comments. Oh, someone did ask for cufflinks.
Forgot. Sorry. The cufflinks, the Mont Blanc cufflinks, because there are accessories, bags, sunglasses, and other luxury items.
But please send us your comments. If you're interested, info@shopworn.com. We will answer any questions you'd like. During business hours, we have live chat on the website. You can chat, and one of our experienced category managers, sales managers will be happy to help you. And we're here for you. We hope you enjoyed us bringing the showroom into your living room or wherever you might be. And please let us know how it went, and tune in again.
Send us ideas for watches you want to see. Go to ShopWorn's website, because we're not going to show things that are not ready to ship. So go to the website, and we'll maybe tease with things that aren't up yet. But if there's things that you do want to see from inside the vault, that's the name of the presentation. Feel free to let us know what you like, and thanks for joining us.
Thanks again.